We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello dear students, myself Dr. Damayanti Ji Badga, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department from SN Patel Institute of Technology and Research Center, Umrak Babel, having college code 049. Today we are going to learn disaster prone areas in India from your ME second semester Construction Engineering and Management branch having subject disaster management with the subject code 3700002. So, content for today's lecture are vulnerability to disasters, climate conditions and disaster, common type of disasters in India and natural disaster. So, vulnerability to disasters. India has been vulnerable in varying degrees to a large number of natural as well as human-made disasters on account of its unique geoclimatic and socio-economic conditions. It is highly vulnerable to floods, drought, cyclones, earthquakes, landslides, avalanches, and forest fires. Out of 36 states and union territories in the country, 27 of them are disaster prone. Now you have to keep in mind whenever we are talking about disaster prone area means it is the matter of natural disaster prone area because man made disaster are unpredictable. Okay, so almost 58.6% of the land mass is prone to earthquake of moderate to very high intensity. Over 40 million hectares, means 12% of land are prone to floods and river erosion of the 7,560 kilometer long coastline. Close to 5,700 kilometer is prone to cyclones and tsunamis, and we are aware about that cyclones and tsunamis because in a past recent year or I can say in a past few months we that experienced Okhi Vayu. Okay, 68% of the cultivable area is vulnerable to drought and hilly areas are at risk from landslide and avalanches. India is home to an extraordinary variety of climatic regions, ranging from tropical in the south to temperate and alpine in the Himalayan north. For the purpose of identification of drought-prone area by Central Water Commission (CWC), the criteria adopted was that drought is a situation occurring in an area when the annual rainfall is less than 75% of normal in 20% of the year examined. Any block or equivalent unit where 30% or more of the cultivated area is irrigated is considered to have reached a stage which enables it to sustain a reasonable protection against drought. A study, rainfall data from 1875 to 1998, indicated the percentage area of the country affected by moderate and severe drought. It may be noted that during the complete 124-year period, there were 3 occasions: 1877, 1899 and 1918 when percentage of the country affected by drought was more than 60%. So what are the common type of disasters in India? High Power Committee on Disaster Management identified 31 type of disaster. Tsunami has been added in 2005 in this list, but as per our syllabus we will discuss only few. Common type of disaster in India, the list is based on water and climate related disasters, flood and drainage management, cyclones, then tornadoes, hurricanes, hailstorms, cloudburst, heat wave, cold wave, snow avalanches, drought, sea erosion, thunder and lightning, tsunami. These all are the water and climate related disaster. Now, based on geological related disaster, the list is over here. Landslides and mud flow, earthquake, dam failure, mine disasters. Now, based on chemical and industrial, nuclear related disasters are chemical and industrial disasters, nuclear disasters. Okay. Now, based on accident related disaster, so it is like forest fire we experienced in past few months. We read in news, we seen in newspapers and news channels that in some places that is a forest fire. Then urban fires, mine flooding, oil spills, major building collapse, serial bomb blasts, festival related disaster, electrical disaster and fires, air, road and rail accident, boat capsizing, village fire. These all come under accident related disaster. Now biological related disasters are biological disaster and epidemics, pest attacks, cattle epidemics, and food poisoning. These all are come under biological related disaster. Now, under natural disaster, if we will discuss about drought, so there is a basic concept in our mind that due to scarcity of water, whatever issue arise, it is like drought. But as per our subject concern, our syllabus is concerned, so we will go through some technical terms. The primary cause of any drought is deficiency of rainfall and in particular the timing, distribution and intensity of this deficiency in relation to existing reserves. A prolonged period of relatively dry weather leading to drought is a widely recognized climate anomaly. Drought can be devastating as water supplies dry up, crop fail to grow, animal die, and malnutrition and ill health become widespread. The environmental effect of drought, including salinization of soil and groundwater decline, increased pollution of freshwater ecosystem and regional extinction of animal species. The principal reasons for flood lie in the very nature of natural ecological system in this country, namely the monsoon, the highly silted river system and the steep and highly erodible mountain, particularly those of Himalayan ranges. We are discussing it under the flood. It is also one type of natural disaster. The average rainfall in India is 1150 mm with significant variation across the country. The annual rainfall along the western coast and western Ghat, Khasi hills and over most of the Brahmaputra valley amount to more than 2500 mm. Most of the floods occur during the monsoon period and are generally associated with tropical storm or depressions, active monsoon conditions and break monsoon situations. All that term here we are discussing, it is like some technical and data. Okay, data related to some evidence and some past historical data. So we have to remember all the things in mind because we have to write our answers based on that theories whenever it is asked in examination. Flood destruction have always brought miseries to numerous people, especially in rural areas. Flood results in the outbreak of serious epidemics, especially malaria, cholera, etc. Simultaneously, scarcity of water also arises. It has a drastic effect on agricultural produce. Okay. Sometimes water remains standing over large area for long span of time, hampering the rabi crop. This is the image I have put from the book The Flood Hazard Map of India. This is only for your information that there is a map is also given by the government to identify the flood hazard map of India. So, from that table, flood affected area and damages in India 1953 to 2011, it is indicated in that table including the data of area affected in million hectare, crop area affected in million hectare, population affected in million, human lives lost in numbers, cattle lost in numbers, house damaged in numbers, value of damage to crops, value of damage to house, value of damage to public utilities, all are in crore, value of damages to crop, houses and public utilities in crore. These all are data mentioning the flood affected area and damages in India 1953 to 2011, and this source is given for the table Central Water Commission, Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India. So, previous table presents the flood affected area and damages for the period 1953 to 2012 in India as per CWC, Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India. An analysis of data of different states for the period of 1953 to 2012 reveals that average annual damage to crops, houses and public utilities in the country was around rupees 3695.299 crore and maximum reported 32,551.758 crore was in the year of 2009. So, on an average, an area of about 7.140 million hectares was flooded, of which on an average crop area affected was of the order of 3.759 million hectares. The impact of floods claimed on an average 1,641.400 human life and 95,509.300 heads of cattle dead every year. So, from this discussion, table 1's data is verified. Now, under natural disaster, we will discuss about the cyclone as per our syllabus. The major natural disaster that affects the coastal regions of India is cyclone, and as India has a coastal line of about 7,560 kilometers, it is exposed to nearly 10% of the world's tropical cyclones. The island of Andaman, Nicobar and Lakshadweep are also prone to cyclones. In upcoming slide, we will discuss about this Iceland regarding the cyclone matter. On an average, about 5 or 6 tropical cyclones form in the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea and hit the coast every year. Out of these, 2 or 3 are very severe. When a cyclone approaches to coast, a risk of serious loss or damage arises from severe winds, heavy rainfall, storm surges and river flood. The effect of a storm surge is most pronounced in wide and shallow bays exposed to cyclones such as in the northern part of Bay of Bengal. This is the map regarding cyclone hazard map. That snap I have taken from the book for only your information that type of map are also available to identify cyclones. Okay, so based on that, you can identify the places where cyclone occurred frequently. A severe supercyclonic storm with winds of up to 250 km per hour crossed the coast in Orissa on October 29 in the year of 1999. This may have been the worst cyclone of the country in the Orissa region and was responsible for as many as 10,000 deaths, rendering millions homeless and extensive damage to property and environment. So, from the number of deaths, we can assume the vulnerability of that cyclone disaster. India has been divided into four seismic zones according to the maximum intensity of earthquake, which is given in figure, upcoming figure. Okay, so that thing we are discussing in regard of earthquake under natural disaster. Of these, zone 5 is the most active, which comprises of whole of northeast India, the northern portion of Bihar, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Gujarat and Andaman Nicobar Islands. India has highly populous cities and the construction in these cities are predominantly not earthquake resistant. So, regularity mechanisms are weak, thus any earthquake striking in one of these cities would turn into a major disaster because of earthquake. Six major earthquakes have struck different parts of India over a span of the last 15 years. So, here again earthquake hazard map of India is given, and the entire Himalayan region is considered to be vulnerable to high intensity earthquake of a magnitude exceeding 8 on Richter scale and in a relatively short span of about 50 years. For such major earthquakes have occurred in the region Shillong, Kangra, Bihar, Nepal and Assam, Tibet. The year and magnitude are mentioned with the cities. In Shillong, in year of 1897, there was a earthquake having magnitude 8.7. In Kangra, in 1905 year, there is a magnitude was 8 for the earthquake. In Bihar, Nepal, in year of 1934, there is a magnitude having 8.3 Richter scale, and in Assam, Tibet, there is a magnitude of 8.6 in year of 1950 is occurred. Specific publications have warned that very severe earthquakes are likely to occur anytime in the Himalayan region, which could adversely affect the lives of several million people in India. Some significant earthquake in India, the data is presented in that table. From the table, date, epicenter, location and magnitude of that earthquake is mentioned. If we consider the date and the magnitude with the location by considering epicenters, then on 10th June 2008, regarding that epicenters in Tibet, 6.4 magnitude earthquake was occurred. The in 27 June 2008 only, the latitude longitude like 11 and 91.6 in Andaman Island, it was 6.7 magnitude. The magnitude of earthquake was 6.1 in Andaman Island again on 28th of June, means on next day only, and this magnitude of 6.4 in Tibet on 25th August of that 2008 year only. On 2008 again on October month, the magnitude having 6 in Andaman Island. Then 6.1 magnitude Nicobar Island on 2009, and after that in 2010 one, two, three, four earthquakes occurred on different places like north off coast of Andaman Island having magnitude of 6.8, off west coast of Nicobar Island having magnitude of 7.8, Andaman Island magnitude of 6, Southeast Indian Ridge magnitude of 6.3. And after that in 2011 in Indo-Nepal border in Sikkim magnitude of 6.9. These are the some significant earthquake in India. Source is mentioned for this table and data. So, if we will discuss about the landslides. So, landslides constitute a major natural hazard in our country, which accounts for considerable loss of life and damage to communication route, human settlement, agricultural field and forest land. Based on the general experience with landslides, a rough estimate of monetary loss is of the order of 100 crore to 150 crore per annum at the current prices for the country as a whole. The landslide hazard zone in India is considered from that map which is taken from the book only for your information. On 30 July 2014, a landslide occurred in the village of Malin in the Ambegaon Taluka of Pune district in Maharashtra, India, and at least 115 people died due to that landslide. Now, tsunami. A tsunami, this is come from the Japanese word su means harbor and nami means wave, is a series of water waves caused by the displacement of large volume of a body of water, generally an ocean. In the Tamil language, it is known as Hazi Paralai, but the name is not concerned for us, it is only for our knowledge, or maybe it will ask in some examination in MCQ, or maybe ask in your general awareness any government exam preparation, then it may be used. The seismicity generated tsunamis are result of abrupt deformation of sea floor resulting vertical displacement of the overlying water. Earthquake occurring beneath the sea level, the water above the reformed area are displaced from its equilibrium position. The release of energy produces tsunami waves which have small amplitude but a very long wavelength, often it's hundreds of kilometers long. It may be caused by non-seismic event also such as a landslide or impact of a meteor. Tsunami sources for India, if we'll consider, then for a tsunami to hit Indian coast, it is necessary that earthquake of magnitude greater than 7 should occur. Two such possible zones are Andaman Sumatra and Makaran. In our previous slide, we observed that in Andaman Sumatra, there was the that natural disaster prone area. Now, historical tsunamis in India, then on 12th April in the year of 1762, earthquake in Bay of Bengal. On 31st December 1881 year, Car Nicobar earthquake. In the year of 1883, in August, eruption of Karakota volcano in Indonesia. Then in 26th of June 1941, Andaman earthquake. In 27th November 1945, Makaran earthquake. On 26th December 2004, Sumatra earthquake. So these are the historical tsunamis in India. In December 2004, tsunami in Indian Ocean. This is our main focus area for tsunami discussion. The tsunami of 26 December 2004 caused extensive damage to life and property in the state of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Union Territories of Pondicherry and Andaman Nicobar Island. The tsunami disaster had badly affected the fisherman community who not only lost their near ones and dear ones but also lost their means of livelihood. In December 2004, tsunami in Indian Ocean, a population of 26.63 lakhs in 1396 villages in 5 states and union territories was affected by this disaster. Almost 9,395 people lost their lives and 3,964 people were reported missing and feared dead. Most of the missing persons were from Andaman and Nicobar Island. For all these PPT contained, the sources are given from here. So dear students, based on disaster prone area, we are able to discuss few things regarding cyclone, flood, drought, tsunami. So, as per that theory discussion in PPT, we have discussed some solid technical data. As we are civil engineering students, we are fundamentally aware about the disaster. We are also aware about all the disaster because of newspaper, news channels. We also experienced few disaster in recent past years. So we have some fundamental knowledge regarding that type of disaster. But whenever our subject is concerned and whenever we have to discuss or explain everything in our exam, if it will ask from that portion, then we need some strong technical data to write the answer. And from that portion in GTU previous exam question were asked. So that PPT will be helpful to you to prepare for exams as well to understand your syllabus portion based on the disaster prone areas in India. So dear students, go through the PPT slide, make proper note from then that and try to give answer of that whatever question asked in previous GTU question paper. So for that question you try to give your answer from that PPT discussion. Till today our lecture is completed. Now onwards in the next lecture I will come with a new topic in disaster management. Till that, all the very best, take care, stay safe and study well.